Nothing moving, but man, is this gross and does it smell terrible. Last week we got this PS4 Pro good and clean, but it gave us the blue light of death. We only got into this though because we were looking for parts for another project. And that's what brings us to today. We're going to wrap up a story about two very different types of dirty and trying to Frankenstein together one clean working PS4 Pro. I was told ahead of time that there may be dead cockroaches inside of here, but just in case, I'm having my IPA spray bottle ready to kill the live ones. This tape seems to be here just to hold a broken hard drive door in place, and it's pretty gross just what's come out from within the system onto the sticky part of the tape. Hard drive doesn't look too bad, and that's not surprising considering that it's kind of in its own enclosed container, separate from the rest of the system. Though it looks like it wasn't completely safe from the infestation. Alright, let's take our first look here. Definitely see some bugs down in there, and obviously up here. They are dead, and I haven't seen any come running out at me yet, so fingers crossed. Just want to take a second to point out this dumb little piece of plastic that looks like a screw. Definitely didn't spend an hour trying to take that out. Using a little bit of heat on these stickers helps me to remove them and reuse them if I choose to. Alright, this is going to be the shot that shows you what we're actually dealing with here. Nothing moving, but man, is this gross and does it smell terrible. Definitely a project where I'm going to clean as I go. This thing keeps dying on me. I'm feeling more confident that we're not going to have any live ones inside of here because none have come crawling out at me yet, which usually would happen if there are any. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. My name is Rob, and Restorish is a partner channel with Tronics Fix, where Steve at Tronics Fix fixes stuff, I clean it, which is my running excuse for not doing anything more than very basic repairs, because gotta stay in my lane. Alright, here's our next reveal of what we're going to be dealing with. Oh, so this is apparently where they went to die, but not to make a mess. Because there's lots of bugs. The mess is kind of on the metal there. Even though this is the second PS4 Pro video that I have done back to back, it actually was the one I filmed first, which explains why I'm making some mistakes in this teardown that I didn't in my previous one. I got better. Static electricity damage on these boards is a pretty low probability, but if you are worried about it, just make sure that you're grounded. And definitely make sure not to scrape too hard with a vacuum cleaner attachment. The bristles on the end of this aren't necessarily something you can see, but I am doing a careful job with them, as I would with any brush. One of the last places that I'm expecting to find a lot of grossness. Ew, right here on this heat sink. It's another warm place that attracts the bugs, and that's also disgusting. These disk drives tend to be a pretty safe place when you have an infestation like this, and I think this one is gonna hold true to that. Unfortunately, this antenna here on the right looks like it was designated as one of the internal outhouses by the bugs, and there's going to be quite a bit of rust on this thing. Gross. Hi, Loki. Pretty nicely preserved roach here on the side. It would have been better to take the little plastic piece in front of these off first, but that's something I figured out as I went along. I want to take this part off of the disk drive just so that we can see inside of here. And a little bit dusty, but no bugs, so that's a win. Even though I've already decided that I want to put the gray pieces on this one instead of this black plastic, I am going to go ahead and clean the rest of these just so that it's done. Even after washing in that Dawn dish detergent water, there is some stuff that just doesn't seem to come up all the time, so we're going to go to the next level of clean here. Then we have this nice sticker residue on here, and we're gonna just hit it first with the cleaning wipes and then get out the Goo Gone. In my last video, which again I filmed chronologically after getting most of the footage for this one, I used this Goo Gone on the gray shell that I'm going to be using for this project, and I learned that I do not like using Goo Gone on anything that has artwork on it, or print, anything that has ink that could be pulled up, because the Goo Gone is going to break that down. But here on just this black matte plastic, does a great job. There, you see how nice that looks? We've still got some bug gunk hiding in the corners. I cleaned pretty much everything inside of this one, even though I'm not showing all of it. And the reason I'm not showing all of it is because I chose to use parts out of the special edition one that I'm going to take the shell off of because they just didn't have any roach contamination on them at all. But I did clean everything, and I'm going to keep most of the stuff set aside for the potential use if I ever need one of these parts in something else, as long as it doesn't continue to smell like roach poop afterwards. As usual, a lot of off-camera cleaning, and this is what we end up with. A board that looks good, but we have to find out if it works. I mention this every time, but I do not feel comfortable taking power supplies apart, and not only that, even if I did clean this out super well, I have a feeling that roach smell would not leave because of the warmth generated inside of here. So along with the heat sink, the 3 antennas, and the shell, I'm going to swap this out for a different one. So here is that special edition PS4 Pro from the last video, and this is what I'm going to use to get all the stuff out of it that I want. Again, to try to put this stuff into making one good, hopefully working, and very clean console. Here are the parts I'm going to use. From both systems, I have pulled what I think is the best of each of them into one collection here. A disassembled PS4 Pro ready to get put back together and hopefully used. All right, here we go. I'm nervous because I don't want to take this apart again. I kind of feel done with PS4 Pros for the time being. So let's hope. Okay, so something is happening here. Cannot start your PS4, cannot access system storage. Press the power button for 1 second until the system beeps to turn off your PS4. Okay, we have a known good hard drive in here, the USB stick plugged in the back with proper software on it, and we're gonna try booting this up in safe mode and see what we get. Just holding the power button until the second beep there. Same message. Okay, I need to look into another problem here, apparently, which is why won't this boot up in safe mode? I'm gonna talk to Steve and see if there's something that he knows that I don't, which there is. There's a lot he knows that I don't. And we're gonna try to get to the bottom of this because I'm not gonna let this video finish like this. It looks like the HDD controller chip has some roach damage around it, and it may have damaged the actual chip. These aren't difficult to replace if you have some experience using a hot air soldering station, so Steve heated up the old one until the solder melted and placed the new one that we removed from a donor board. Alright, after Steve tried replacing that chip on the board, we're gonna find out what happens when we try to turn it on. Ah, controller. I'm guessing from La Version 10.01 that it's telling me that we need to update the firmware. So I'm gonna turn this completely off here again. And then we're going to boot it up in safe mode with the software for this.
I think it's number 7. That would be my guess. Reinstall
yeah,
software.
I would guess that means reinstall software.
Yeah.
That reinstall our software
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Man, so, we're pretty smart. We're pretty good with Spanish. Yeah.
Reinstall system software.
Exactly.
Initialize PS4.
Exactly.
Right?
You got it.
Right?
Yeah. We know Spanish just fine.
Yeah. All right, I think we got everything working well enough for me to do a longer test off camera, but assuming everything goes to plan, we're going to consider this project done. If you have an item that you think might make for a good project for us here at Restorish, I'll leave a link in the description where you can start a dialogue with us about that. I'm also going to leave a link for you right here on the screen for that video I did last time where I originally got into the PS4 Pro that had this shell on it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time.